Yes. Right. How are you, boys?
Hi, Dobby.
How's it going? How's it going?
How are you? Can you?
How you going? Let me make a quick introduction, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Aydin Show. The word Aydin means enlighten. That's exactly our goal. We're here to enlighten you, share knowledge and wisdom, and inspire our youth. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Ahmed's Orders, the host this evening. We've got Levy on our right side, and Tahir is joining us today. How are you, Tahir?
Very good. Gentlemen, good to be here. I've got my Turkish perfume.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Oi. We got Turkish around here. That's awesome, man. I like the tiger behind you.
The tiger.
You know, to me, this is a symbol of the coronavirus. To me, the lockdown, because the virus hit and the whole world all of a sudden watch a show, and I watch it too. I love rubbish TV. I love it. To me, it's a symbol. When I see it, it makes me laugh. It just makes me smile. So I've got it as my background now for all Zoom. Any meetings, I've always got it in my background.
100%. No, I've definitely watched it as well. It's a very funny show to watch. Definitely.
Now listen, Ahmed.
What have you been up to, man? What have you been doing today?
Ahmed, you listening to me?
I am listening to you, bro.
Mate, your voice, magnificent. You should be a voice announcer.
That's what I've been saying to him too.
A radio voice announcer. Are you married? See, you're married, right?
I'm married. I've got 3 beautiful kids.
Of course, but as soon as you heard your voice, it was all over. You don't even need anything else. For me, I need my jokes and I need everything else, to attract the girls. For you, just voice, mate, he's got the golden voice.
Yeah, like Richard Mercer, our Turkish Richard Mercer. That's what he is.
The Turkish John Laws or Richard. Actually, that's a good idea. You should be doing, the Turkish,
the love song dedication.
Love requests.
Oh, love song. I don't know about that.
Come on, give us one now. Give us your best love request. Say, this is going out to Hülya and
this is going out.
It's good.
Kurt.
But what's the song? Let's give him a song to give. Let's give him a song. Should we give?
Let's.
Haydi söyle.
Okay, we can pick something Turkish. We've got a lot of viewers on that are Turkish and Lebanese that are watching us today. So a bit of multicultural.
Okay, cool. All right, here we go. On 3, count them in.
Yeah, you're gonna count it.
Am I gonna sing now or?
No, you're gonna introduce it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Love song dedication. I don't know what else to say. I've never done this before.
Hülya and Özgür, and then the song title.
You got to come in.
Betül Kurt. Haydi söyle.
That's it. That's what it'll be like.
All right. Well, let's try it again. That didn't work.
Yeah, do it again.
Love song dedication to Betül Kurt. Haydi söyle. That was a little too.
Oh, beautiful. I'm done.
Oh, okay. All right. At least it
You got to give a bit more oomph into that.
A little bit more.
I love that. I'm telling you, it's beautiful.
I think I've got to practice a little bit more before we do it next time. Let's get some background information about you, man. We all know that you're Turkish, but were you born here in Australia or were you born in Turkey?
I was born in Turkey, Ankara. I'm from Ankara. Yeni Mahalle is my, I don't remember, I was only a little kid, but so that's what my mum tells me, where I was born. So I came out to Australia probably when I was about three or four years of age. Yep. And then my family migrated, and our first city, believe it or not, was Melbourne.
Wow. Okay. So you came here. How old were you when you came down here?
3 or 4, basically. That was it. So we went to a sort of halfway house in Melbourne. Yeah. My dad didn't like it. He didn't like the whole setup, because my dad was like a professional from Turkey, and he just didn't like the whole setup. And we had some friends from Sydney, and then next, we got in a car and we got driven. I remember as a kid, one of my first early memories driving from Melbourne to Sydney, only because we knew some people from Sydney. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I would have been a Melbourne boy. Would have grown up in Melbourne and brought up on AFL. And I remember on the trip from Melbourne to Sydney, right, the very first time, because we were starving. It was a massive trip, 13 hours. I don't know how long back then. It was 14 hours, and we were starving. And it was the first time all of a sudden we stopped, and this big white bag it was hot, it was smelling. What is it? We didn't know what it was. We opened it up. It was hot chips, our first time. Oh, and we were so hungry. It was our first, what is this food? It's steaming, it's hot. We're like seagulls. We're just picking at it, bang, 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 like this. And it was my very first introduction to hot chips in Australia. I remember that. I don't know why I remember that. And we came to Sydney, and we just stayed in Sydney. And I was brought up on, NRL and cricket and everything else, but not AFL. Even though I love AFL, I played AFL at school, but that was some of the early memories. Yeah,
it's weird. A lot of people up that way in Sydney do follow the NRL more than they follow the AFL. Definitely.
Well, it's the number one sport in Sydney. We didn't. Nowadays you get more coverage on AFL, and it's a lot better. But even back then there was no coverage at all. I didn't even know what was going on until I used to see Lou Richards with his Saturday, with his like a voice like you. You could do the commentary as well, the Turkish commentary team. But I love AFL. I played at a school. I think it's a great sport.
Who did you barrack for?
Swans, Of course.
Sydney Swans, of
That's
course.
obvious, yeah.
Swanettes, mate. Sydney Swans.
What about a Melbourne team? What would have been the Melbourne team if you were here?
I reckon, yeah, good question. I thought of that, but I reckon it'd be Carlton.
Carlton, yeah.
Here we go.
I just got a feeling it would be if I grew up in Melbourne. I reckon it would have been Carlton. I don't know why, but I think it would have been Carlton.
It could be
For some reason.
Interesting.
Yeah, it could be the colours. I think that's what drew me to it when I was younger. The navy blues.
Are you a Carlton supporter?
I'm a Carlton supporter. Levy, you're an Essendon
I'm
supporter.
Essendon, yeah.
Yeah,
Essendon from birth.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I like that. Yeah. I just think the club, there's the different backgrounds that support Carlton, the area, I think it would have been Carlton.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a good question. You never know.
Definitely. So that'll be a question. Were you good at school? The reason why I ask,
teacher.
you were a teacher. You became a teacher at one stage in your life.
Yeah, but I got the degree because I paid cash to someone.
They've got those. Hey, they've actually got those uni degrees online, man. Where you pay, I think it's someone was mentioned to me the other day, where you pay $700 and you become a PhD in anything you want, and you just.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, imagine that.
my score actually was 97. So,
wow.
But that's when back then it was out of 500.
Oh.
No, look, believe it or not, I was a good student. I wasn't brilliant. I wasn't the ducks at school, but I wasn't and my English and writing skills were a lot better than maths. Like maths, I was okay at maths. I enjoyed maths, but I was always around a 70% in maths. Always around a 70%, but much higher in English and written stuff, creative writing. So I ended up becoming an English history teacher that specialised in drama as well. So,
okay, so English, history, and drama.
English, history, and drama, yeah. So that were my three sort of subjects.
How long did that go for?
I only taught for a couple of years, and yeah, my number one goal was to try to get to 10 years, because after 10 years you get 3 months long service. That was my goal. What a simple goal.
After 10 years, crazy.
10 months, you get 3 months full pay. I thought that sounds good,
Yeah.
And but I never got there. I was well short, and obviously I'm years short. I only taught for a couple of years, maybe 4 or 5, and then comedy started taking over slowly. And
why did you decide to leave it?
Yeah, the transition. What gave you the transition?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because when I was teaching, like my last year before I left, I was actually taking a lot of time off work through comedy, because I was getting pulled away here and there, and it was starting to get busy, and I was starting to get a bit of traction in my shows, and eventually I left to open up a business with my brother. It was a juice bar in Sydney, believe it or not. So it was a juice bar, yogurt bar, Turkish yogurt. Like 2 litre tubs.
Apparently the word yogurt originates from a Turkish word, so I think it has something to do with Turkey, I think.
Of course, mate. The Turkish people got ripped off a lot of times. A lot of different, I try to tell people, doner kebab is Turkish. People don't, I don't know. My mate Rob Shahidi, he's Lebanese. He tries to claim it's theirs. It's not yours. Look at the words. Doner means turning. Kebab means meat. It's turning meat in Turkish.
You guys can have the hummus, the kebabs, or else.
Exactly. By the way, we're thinking about Rob and I. We're going to launch a new perfume, because I showed you the Turkish perfume. Right?
Yeah, the Colonia.
I showed you.
Yeah, that's it.
Colonia by Tahir.
I love it. Look at that. But no, we're gonna put a lotion out there called Tabbouleh Sunrise.
Ooh,
so it's going to be a genuine perfume, but a bit of a laugh. So hopefully people can get their order in. I became a teacher, taught for and then I became busy. Got the comedy. Took some time off. Went into business with my brother.
Yep.
And what that gave me more flexibility to leave whenever I wanted, because when I was teaching, I had to get permission to go to Perth and go to Melbourne, but now when I ran my own business, my brother looked after the business and I just took off. So that was my transition into becoming a full-time comedian, which I see myself as a full-time stand-up comedian, not as an actor. Acting just was on the side. I enjoy acting, but that's just a side thing,
So, I mean, where did the comedy start with you? When did that all begin?
Mate,
what could you remember? What was the earliest memories you have of making people laugh?
Yeah, good question, man. Good question. I was always into it. That was the thing. I was always into it. And I remember in primary school, sports report. and all the kids used to hate the sports report, but I got sort of, they go, I got stuck with it, and I sort of made it humorous. I got some laughs, and I thought, it felt good, like in primary school. So I sort of fell in love with comedy, and every week I always do the sports reports and do, stupid kids jokes, and the whole school would be there laughing, and it was a great sort of experience. And I always used to write comedy, collect comedy, watch comedy, and then even through my uni years, just always involved in comedy and collecting a massive database of like writing and jokes and different stuff, and a lot of about my upbringing and life and my parents and the Turkish culture and the ethnic culture. And then finally, when I'm in my early 20s, when I'm probably 23, 24, I found out about an open mic night at the Sydney Comedy Store. Now, what open mic night means is that anybody can rock up, right? Any amateur can rock up for a couple of minutes on stage, and they still have them in Melbourne. I've got them in Sydney, and I thought it was the greatest thing on the earth. So I rocked up straight away with my mates. Like we went there. There was 4 mates and me. We went there, and you know what? It took me. I got too scared. I go, I'll just watch tonight. I'll come back next week. So the next week, my mates and I turned up again to Sydney Comedy Store. I put my name down, and then guess what? I got scared again, too nervous. Nah, I said, nah, next week. Do you know how many weeks I rocked up to that comedy club for? 6.
Wow.
6 weeks I rocked up to the comedy club every day, every week saying, I'm going to get up. Because I knew I was going to get up, but I was just, it's such a scary thing the first time,
Yeah.
And then finally I got up, and look, when you got your mates there, they just laugh at anything because they're there with you.
Yeah.
Just to see your mate on stage. But eventually, of course, I'd go to every open mic, every comedy club, but they wouldn't come. They move on with their lives, but I just became obsessed, with going to all the comedy clubs.
Before that, Tato, though, did you have any like role models growing up that helped you kind of get into it, like to or was it all just self-determination to kind of get up there and you like, I went to the comedy clubs, and was it like a figure in your life where there was someone that was funny that kind of you learnt from?
Yeah, Kemal Sunay.
Yeah.
No, not really. I just love comedy. I got my own style, I do love Kemal Sunay movies, but you can't explain, like if you're Turkish and you can't sort of explain to other people what is about. It just, it sounds simple, the things he does, but it's so funny. And of course we got Cem Yilmaz and different, but not really. I just found my own sort of path really. But when I started comedy, funny enough, we all became friends. Like there was a lot of people that were studying at the same time, and we had camaraderie. So there was people like Joe Vardy, a very close friend of mine. Akmal, we started all at the same time. Carl Barron, I remember Carl Barron just being in the open mic night as well. Everyone was there, just so we're all sort of. It was funny because we're all seeing each other for the first time, watching each other first time, and seeing. We didn't know it was going to be a career for all of us for a long, for quite 2 decades. So there's a lot of comedians that sort of started, and we sort of all still are friends and catch up from time to time. And so yeah, it was great that way.
How did you get into Fat Piece? I mean, were they looking for comedy actors, or did they come to you, or did you go to them? How did it all come about?
No, well, the thing is, I became a stand-up comedian full time, and then what happened was I saw that as my full-time job, but somehow I got an acting agency. I signed up with an agency, even though it's not my I do love acting. I love acting, directing, writing, all that sort of stuff. But so I just signed up, and in Sydney, she sent me to an audition, right? Because when you're with an agency, you got to go to auditions. Yeah. And I've been to tons of auditions. People should know how many auditions I've been to, and you know how many times you audition for something, and they look at you, they just look at you like you're not going to get this role. You got to just keep doing it. You got to keep doing this. So I get sent to this audition in North Sydney, right? I lived in Sydney's western suburbs, where the real people live. So this is it was a long way. I wasn't even going to go, and it was a Fat Pizza. It's some show called Pizza. What is this pizza show? Anyway, in the end, I decided to go because I said I would, and I don't like to. If I say I'm going to do something, I follow through. I drove all the way. It was quite a drive. I get to SBS Studios in Sydney, North Sydney, in Sydney, right? And I go to this audition, which was unlike any other audition I've ever been to in my life. They go, okay, it's your turn to go in. I go into this room. There's only one person in the room. Who's that person? Paul Fennick.
Yeah.
You know, Paulie from the show. So people don't know that he actually is the brains behind it. So he's the one that writes it, directs it, edits it, acts in it. You know, so it's an amazing. He does about five different roles in one. So
Is he on drugs when he does most of them? Like, I mean, we were just watching with Living before. Like, man, how does he come up with that shit? Like, it's just, it's.
No, he's a good writer. No, it doesn't do any of that stuff. I know some of the actors do, but not him. But yeah, he just is obviously he's just got a good, you know, he's a good storyteller, and so I didn't know it was him at the time. Like, so I walked in the room and it was him, but I didn't know him at the time, and I couldn't see his face either because he had a camera on his shoulder, right? And he was looking through the viewfinder, so I didn't know what his face looked like. I didn't even know it was him, but it was him. He even does his own auditions. So imagine walking into a room and you see there's a camera being pointed at you, no one else, one camera. I go, what? I stand there looking around. And from behind the camera, he goes, do something. Do something, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. By then, can you imagine like being in this audition? Like you'd freak out, you'd walk out. So I didn't, you know, anything I could do. I'd been doing stand-up comedy for about two or 3 years by then. Yep. So I started doing some of my jokes and some of my accents, like, oh my God, I swear, like heavy, sick, all this sort of stuff. I could see behind the camera, he was starting to laugh, like the camera's shaking up like that, you know. And I did a couple of my jokes and one-liners and did some characters, and then he put the camera down and said, "Yeah, I think we can use you." That was it. So, and then I you know, turned up, and yeah, the rest is history.
Your girlfriend got very famous.
Yes, Rebel Wilson, she's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Amazing actor as well.
Mate, she's famous, huge Hollywood star, like, you know.
Grown huge.
It has a lot to do with you, though, definitely.
Yeah, I was a star. Like, she's famous, man. She's in Hollywood, and I'm in Western Sydney.
It's a place to be.
Place to be, mate.
Mate, as I said, the real people. No, she's great because she's always comes back to Sydney. We do catch up from time to time, especially Rob and myself, and we'll go for a feed or something. And but just. She's worked hard. That people don't see that how hard she's worked, and she always loved acting. She loved movies. She loved Hollywood, and you know, in this business, you need a couple of things. You need talent, obviously, but you need luck. Doesn't matter how. I don't care how talented you are. You need a lucky break. You know what I mean? So many people have gone to LA. So many Australian actors gone to LA, done nothing, and then came back. No, they're talented. You just need to be in the right place sometimes. So she took the punt, went there. Within a couple of months, she got a breakthrough audition. It was only a small part in the movie. What was the movie? Not Bridesmaids. It was a small part. It was a small, but some people know the first movie.
I forgot too, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I would have watched it for sure.
It was with the baldy guy. Who's the baldy guy? Was it Bridesmaids? No, somebody will Google it. Somebody will Google it. Yeah. I should know it anyway.
Yeah.
That's all right.
But anyway, it was only a small part, but she stole the scene.
Okay.
She stole the scene in that movie, and that movie became big worldwide. So the movie she got became big. Not all the movies make it, so it could have been a flop, and you know you got to keep battling. And her scene was great, and she's a great performer, great improviser. Stole the scene, and from that, then she got a couple of other movies and dancing movies, and she was on her way. But she kept working. She's a hard worker, and she deserves everything that's come her way.
Definitely. Brilliant actor.
So, what's some of the things you're involved in now? I mean, some of the roles you've done recently. Can you tell us a little bit about
that? Mate, I mean, I'm involved in everything, man. Car rebirthing. What else? Tires.
Is that what you call it? Car rebirthing. Yeah.
What else?
Construction.
Debt collecting.
Debt collecting.
No, I don't do debt collecting. Mick Gatto does that.
We all know Mick very well.
Did I ever tell you when Mick Gatto came to one of our shows at the Comics Lounge in Melbourne?
No.
Yeah, so it was a funniest story ever. Like, so we're there, the Comics Lounge, which is my favourite club in Melbourne. I don't know if you guys have been there, but
yeah,
it's a great venue, and it was packed. And we're all there. So there was Joe Vardy, there was Rob Shady, and Mick got 2 tables right in the front row, like 2 long tables for all him and all these big boys, like massive muscle guys were all around. They all turned up, and Joe goes, Joe Vardy goes, Mick Gaddow's out there, Mick. Right, nobody talk to him, nobody make fun of him, this, that, like, and they're all there, they're eating. And of course, so the boys all went out and they did their routine, and the crowd was sort of laughing and having a look. But of course, me, I can't help myself. I hit stage. Straight away, I looked down at Mick Gaddo. I see all the big muscly boys, and Rob was before me. Rob goes, yeah, they're all eating, they're all talking. Like, I said, mate, have a go at them. They love it. They're here for comedy, right? So I came out and I said, ladies and gentlemen, Mick Gaddo's right in the front row in the audience. He's right here. And everyone looked around. They go, now, if Mick Gaddo laughs, we all laugh. If he doesn't laugh, nobody laughs. And he was loving it. He was laughing. He was a great, and we caught up, like, and you know what? He came and he's a great guy. And then we caught up afterwards, and he comes to a lot of our shows. It's awesome. So it was just a lot of funny incidents we've had. Like, Andrew Bogan's another one. He's a great supporter. He loves his comedy, loves his ethnic shows, he loves Fat Pizza. He's been there a few times as well, and different AFL players and things I've seen popping over the years. So a lot of backstage stories, like, a lot of backstage stories.
Well, I mean, what's planned? Do you have anything in the pipelines? Like, will you be coming to Melbourne anytime too soon to kind of join in, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so I'm one of those guys, Ahmed, that works on, is comfortable working on different projects at the same time. So I like that. So I've always got about, I don't know, half a dozen things going. I'm writing a children's book, which I've just finished, like a children's movie script, a drama. We're pitching something with the SBS, Rob and I, at the moment, which is a comedy, mockumentary set in prison. We're live shows, of course, we're doing all the time. So, like, we're doing live shows. We were going to tour the show called Crazy Rich Ethnics. So that was going to be with George Capanaris, myself, and James Liotta from Melbourne also. And that tour was, all set up and ready to go. And it was great because it was a great poster. Instead of Crazy Rich Asians, we're Crazy Rich Ethnics. And we had all the venues, and, and tickets were going really well. And we're going to come down to Melbourne, of course. But the virus hit, and the whole year, like, one by one, they just got cancelled. And eventually the whole year got cancelled. So we pushed it back till middle of next year. So
the coronavirus is actually,
it's been tough.
It's been tough on all of us, especially the Victorians, but so it has impacted you over there as well in Sydney.
Oh, look, absolutely. Not only me, like, a bit, basically the industry I'm in, like all the performing arts industry, basically knocked it out of the park for 6. I did the Adelaide Festival in March. Yep. I did the whole run, and I came back mid-March. We just got the last weekend in because, the virus was starting to be big news by then. We got the last weekend in, and crowds were down a bit. Even though, like, my show would be, like, sold out, there'd be like 30% not even there that have bought tickets. They go, no, I'm not going to go with the crowd, right? So, and then, of course, when I came back, everything, the next 6 months wiped off my calendar. Everything got wiped. Like, I had, a lot of shows booked and a lot of corporate events, but just everything gone. Absolutely just wiped out. No, that's for everybody in the performing arts industry.
I was speaking to Nazim Hussein on Facebook, and he said the same thing. He had a lot of upcoming comedy festivals.
Everybody's in the same boat.
And everything's just on pause for everybody at the moment, unfortunately.
And when you think about it, like, the stand-up comedy is it was the first thing to get cut and cancelled, and it'll be the last thing to come back, because that's exactly the environment they're trying to avoid. Like, low ceiling, everyone tight together. So it's a shame, but I just hope people, support it when it does come back, and that's with all the industries. So eventually, are you guys locked up?
Yeah, well, yeah, we're pretty much. Well, we're not locked up. We're essential workers, so we're allowed to come to our offices, go to sites. We're both builders. So we
shouldn't you guys be 1.5 meters apart?
We are supposed to, but we have a good enough reason. Levy's.
I got the ruler out before.
Levy's plumbing kind of popped at his place, so he's staying with me for a couple of days. I think
a bit of a shower incident with the bathroom. Just sort of, the water's just sort of flooded everywhere. So I had to.
Well, you guys shower together?
Yeah, we're sharing together too. So it's something different. It's quite that new one.
We don't only build houses together.
Doesn't matter. If you're friends, you're friends. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
I'll soap your bag, you soap mine.
Nobody judges. No, nobody judges these days.
Not these days, anyway.
Let's go.
Yeah, not these days. You know what's surprising? I was having a chat the other day, like about in the NRL, like over the years, there's been one sort of footballer that came out as gay, right?
Yep.
Not a big deal. It was in the 80s, Ian Roberts, and a couple of referees have come out. And these days, it's not. No one judges. It's not even, to me, it's not even a big deal when someone comes out. Oh, yeah, okay, you just carry on. Like, you don't judge.
Okay.
But what surprises me and saddens me at the same time, AFL, nobody. Come on. Are you telling me after all those years, all those players, not one? I said, it's a sad sort of indictment. Like, they can't, they're not comfortable to come out, because they should, because I think we're past that. We're beyond that.
Yeah.
And I really don't think it'd be even on the field, I wouldn't have cop it, because people know, like, these days, they don't, that's not the sort of talk we need. So yeah, I hope that whoever does first will be very brave, and they should just do it.
That's true.
Yeah. Look, Tarabi, give us a little bit of advice here, man, for some of the viewers that are watching that, want to get into being
Youth,
a comedian. Yeah, cute youth, whoever. I guess it doesn't really matter about age, but like people that just really want to become comedians. What sort of advice can you give them, man?
Well, look, not only comedians, but anything like with comedy. If anyone wants to do comedy or performing arts, and I actually get asked that a lot. Like, people go, I want to do acting, for example, right? They go, I want to do acting. Okay. And my question first back is, okay, you want to do acting. What have you done about it? That's what I ask back. They go, nothing. Or, what do you mean nothing? Like, okay, if you want to do acting and you've done, you've got to take action with everything you want in life.
You need to study, don't you? Or do you need to do some classes and acting classes? Obviously,
anything. Like, you have to take action, whichever way that action is. So I say, what, you want to do acting, but you've done nothing about it. So do you expect someone to knock on your door and say, listen, I've got a big movie script for you, come and do it? It doesn't happen that way. So you've got to take courses. There's local groups, local drama groups, like, educate yourself. You've got to go to auditions. Everyone has to go to auditions unless you're a mega star, where they write movies about you. But even them, they have meetings and that sort of stuff. So you've got to be prepared to go to auditions, and you've got to be prepared to be knocked back. Because, like, we did Here Come the Habibs. I was one of the creators for that show. And this time I was on the other side of the auditions, right? So I was the one watching and, saying, yeah, this person's good, that person, you know what I mean? And what I realized was, like, man, it's tough industry. Like, there was so many people that were good for the role, but you can only pick one. So that's where the luck part comes into it. Like, 10 people are perfect, only one can get it, because there's only the one role. So I think we should give more feedback to them. Like, but so you've got to be prepared to get auditions and be rejected.
Exactly.
You've got to put yourself out there. Like, people want to do commercials. Okay, you got to go for the commercials. You got to, like, there's local drama groups. There's that you can join and perform and get used to being on stage. So there's a lot of things like that. For a comedian specifically, Ahmed, is there's nothing. There's no course. There are courses online you can do. Even I've written one, actually, but nothing beats. You've got to just get up on stage. You can do all the preparation you like. You've got to get up on stage and experience.
You've got to be funny first, though, yeah. So you got to obviously make people around you laugh, and
you got to give it the feel too.
Yeah, kind of,
Look, two different things. I've got a lot of my mates, right? I've got a lot of my mates that are hilarious off stage, hilarious in real life. Put them on stage, they freeze. Because, like, on stage with a microphone, you're very naked, very bare, and you've only got your words and performance. So that's why it's a daunting thing, and people really freak out about stand-up comedy. But there's different things. But I believe that everything can be learnt. I really do. You can learn. There's tricks of the trade of stand-up comedy. You can learn those. But with comedy, I reckon it was like
the trade.
I reckon it was 10 years before I thought, yeah, I'm really starting to hit my straps. Like, at first you get laughs and people are laughing, but we really understand that it's not just about the words, it's about your facials and performance and interaction with the audience. And I love improvising. So stand-up comedy, it's just like a pilot. You got to get hours up. You got to get hours up on stage, experience different audiences, experience different material, different scenarios, and just keep working on your repertoire. But that's a very specific thing. So stand-up comedy, nothing's stopping people. Nothing's actually stopping people. That's what the beauty of the industry is. And there's nobody can like the beauty of stand-up comedy is you can talk about whatever you want on stage. That's a beautiful thing. Like, so, you know, there's less barriers there, but but that's in everything. Like people go, oh, I want to do this. Well, take action. These days there are TAFE courses for anything you want. Anything, like if you don't get in uni, mate, go to TAFE. Like there's all back, you know, there's a backdoor entrance to uni. You do a TAFE course, you can jump across. Yeah, there's so many options. There's so many options, like for people, like, you know, and proactive. So for example, like I'm always creating my own shows. I don't, like, no one's knocked on my door. I, you know, created TV shows. We did Street Smart. Here Come the Hubbies. We've got another one. Like, you know, the other ones that I've been on, like Fat Pizza. What's that?
What's the other one coming?
Oh, the prison comedy. Like hopefully we're
you've already mentioned that.
Yeah, good. Like, yes.
Yep.
So we got with our live shows, I'm always like, we're doing shows this year, but we're playing for next year. We never stay. We never, like, you know, we're pitching scripts. We're writing scripts. We're pitching different ideas. We never stay still. Like, don't ever. Like, my advice is, don't just wait for the knock on the door. You know, go out and be proactive. Be proactive, because this industry is small, competitive, and tough. Like, you know, the industry I'm in, but I'm saying be proactive for everything you do in life. Whether you want to set up a plumbing business, or you want to set up your, like, whatever it is, be proactive. Get creative. Don't stand. People just, if you're just waiting for things to happen, forget it.
Yeah, it's never happened.
I think one of the biggest things, the fears, I guess, is being booed on stage or getting that negative type of feedback from something that didn't make people laugh. I mean, how would you deal with something like that? You know, I don't know if you've kind of, I'm sure everyone's experienced. I'm sure you've experienced it as well. What have you?
How you deal with it? You cop the slap on the face.
Yeah. I guess us Turks are all familiar with that. So
exactly.
Yeah. Used to
Turks. Yeah.
Look, there's no other. If you do comedy for any amount of years, you're gonna get the shocking gigs. You're gonna get an audience that doesn't like you. You're gonna get an audience that doesn't find you funny. It happens because comedy is subjective. You know, what you find one person funny, other person like doesn't know. That's fine. We've all got different sense of humor, but you know, you're gonna cop the bad gigs, and if you let it affect you, which it does early on. You know, you've got to like get through that, because early on I thought, you'd have a bad gig and it would affect you. But these days I just move on. Yeah. I'll get in my car, drive home, get an ice cream on the way home. Doesn't matter. You know? Exactly. So yeah, you're going to learn to deal with that. But you know what? Isn't that like life, boys? Not everything goes to plan. You know, in any job. So if comedy, of course, not everything will go to plan. And it's in life how you deal with, you know, how you deal with any negativity, how you deal with when things don't go to plan.
Pessimism and, you know, all the voices around you saying that you can't do it and all that.
Yeah. But like, you know, in life, like whatever job you do, how you deal with adversity, you know, makes you as a person. Honestly, like, you know, it really. So, and that might mean getting help from others. Like, you know, people, you know, don't be too scared to ask for help. People just people want to help. You got to ask, whether that's mental health or whatever help. Like, just ask. You know, be proactive.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that. Like I said, people go, I want to do a comedian. Okay, well, what have you done? You got to get up. No, I'm not ready. Well, when are you going to be ready?
Exactly. Yeah, you have to.
You've got to just get up and get up on stage and do it. Right, a couple of minutes. No, I'm not. Like, I need 10. No, you need just 3 minutes and get up there on stage and do it.
Yeah, just do it. Get up and get in there.
Exactly.
It's like anything. Like, if people think about opening up their own business, go ahead. It's a great idea. Don't let it back. Do your research these days. There's a ton of information about on everything. Like, you know, people can actually make their own path in life. Like, and I think you have a lot of Turkish listeners, and I meet a lot of successful Turkish people in the industry. Not in my industry, but I'm talking when I do corporate events, and I love it. You know how proud it makes me. Like, I'll do a company, and this big company, massive company, and the CEO is Turkish background. It's awesome. Like, I go, well, how did you, like, you know? And then I love hearing their stories, and you know, we're prominent. We're prominent in a lot of different positions.
Exactly. I'm pretty. When, like you said, when you hear things like that, it makes you proud. Like, I've got a lot of friends that are Lebanese around here. You know, hearing names like Ahmed Fahua, you know, for example.
Oh yeah.
Okay, he's a huge one, one of the biggest CEOs for the Australian Post, and now he's somewhere else, another big role. So yeah, definitely, man, it's a great
It's
thing.
good to see. Yeah.
Of course, we had like Mustafa, Mustafa, like the Crazy Johns, like,
Definitely
Johnny
one of
Hill.
like and it was funny because I mean, he had the heart attack on a Monday. I clearly remember it because, like, I really love that guy. It was an awesome story. What a success he was. A great person as well. Helped out a lot of people. He became successful because he came from humble backgrounds. He actually helped out a lot of people. He was always busy helping. And I was in Melbourne on the Friday just doing some shows, and I caught up with him for coffee on the Friday. Then on the Monday, like, a terrible incident. So, but yeah, he was awesome for the community. He really was.
Oh, he was. Just when you, like you said, you got to research things. So you could even research someone as beautiful as he was, and you see the hard work he put in, the struggles he went through, some of the struggles that we don't go. Divorce, his brother committing suicide allegedly, and other things in his life that really, like his partner running away with nearly all the money, and having to kind of work through that and push through that and become someone like he was.
100%. People just see him at the end successful. Look at this guy. He's a multi-millionaire, massive company, hundreds of staff. But if you've done the research, have you read his books? Have you read his style? Like what happened early on in his career when he opened up his first, I think it was a Vodafone shop. He opened up a Vodafone shop, or what was it? Vodafone?
I think it was Telstra. I think maybe
he went to, or was it Telstra?
I think it was a Telstra.
It was on Brunswick. Yeah. I don't know, it was on Brunswick. He had that little shop right
at the corner. It's in the corner.
Well, he opened up that Telstra one, right? And in his story, you'll see that like he was struggling because he borrowed money off his parents. His parents like gave him money to start the business, and he was just concerned about paying his parents back, as most ethnic people are. Like we're humble like that. So, and it was struggling, and a lot of times like his mates would go out on a Saturday night. He'd be there in the store. He'd be there crying at times in the store. And he's in the end, like he wanted to sell, but they wouldn't. He wanted what he put in for it, and if they matched him, they would have said yes. Like I think Vodafone turned up. I think Vodafone wanted to buy it, and he needed 25 grand, and they wouldn't pay him. So they said, we'll pay you 10 grand. He goes, I can't. I need 25 to pay my parents back.
Oh.
So if they paid him the 25 grand, he would have taken it, paid it, and then the rest would have been history. He would have just got another normal job, but he had to reject that offer and work, and he worked himself out of it by giving customer service.
Yeah,
he would sell a phone and he would personally deliver it because he had the time. And people go, "Oh my God, look at this guy's service!" He would personally deliver phones, and he just got busy, and he just worked his butt off. And then he got a second Telstra store, and third, and just grew from there. It just absolutely grew. So people don't see the early struggles; they got no idea. Exactly. And in life, like we all make decisions, one decision it can just change the rest of your life.
So true. So true. You probably just see me smashing a coffee down, man. I love my coffee. You're also a businessman. Look, why did you decide to get into franchising cafes? That's something that apparently you're doing that we want to hear about this. So, why cafes and why franchise?
Yeah, we've always been involved in, as I said, when I left teaching, I got involved in business with my brother. A juice bar, and it was always like my parents ran a seafood shop, and it was always sort of in our blood, just doing business and all that sort of stuff. So over the years, we owned a couple of cafes, different stuff. My brother, I've got two brothers. The other one also opened up a couple of businesses, and eventually we sold everything and took a little break. And then when we came back, we joined with two other mates. There's four of us. Yeah. And we decided to open up the Shed, a place called the Shed, and franchise it. But it's not a normal franchise. I shouldn't even call it a franchise because it's not. We break all the rules of a franchise. There's a flat fee. We really reduce everything. We don't charge for marketing like all the other franchises. We make it really fair.
I understand because
family.
Yeah, I understand because I was working around a franchise. It was a telechoice. Yep. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It was like a reseller for Optus, and I used to see what was going on with the amount of fees that were kind of being ripped out of most of these franchises, and it was hurting them because they'll have some bad months where they're not really doing too well. You know, so Christmas is busy, and then you've got your January where you're flat and you're just constantly ripping out money to pay for commercials and ads and stuff. So
we've been on both sides, and we thought we'd turn the industry upside down. As I said, we don't charge a percentage. It's a small flat fee. We don't charge for marketing. They've got a lot of freedom to do some different stuff too. So therefore, we're not always looking over, like, you know, we're trusting each other. So, and because of that, like our reputation has been awesome. Like in Sydney, we've got a lot of success stories, and the people that bought them like one, second, and third. And because our rule is this, boys, in the franchise, said, if I'm not prepared to put my own money in, why would I want someone else to do it? Like, you know, I don't. We could have grown really quickly, but we've grown slowly on purpose. We could have grown really quickly, smashed out of 60 stores, made some money, moved on. But you know what? A lot of people lost their money, and I can't sleep like that. There's no way. So you know, it's very careful.
Is it a competitive market, the cafe business in Sydney?
Yeah, it's competitive, very competitive, absolutely. So you know, my brother, he loves his coffee. That's all they talk about: beans and machines, and where we source the beans from, because they roast their own coffee. And we haven't come to Melbourne yet, because I know Melbourne's it's a great cafe culture. There's a lot of good operators.
I was just looking at Levy because it sounds a little bit like me. I get my coffees from one of my favorite cafes, and I've got a machine here where I make my own sort of coffee, and hopefully we'll have you here one day trialing it out and letting us know what you think.
I'd love to. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, look, I mean, it sounds pretty good. How many is there now? How many franchises franchise?
There's 20. There's 20 at the moment.
Okay. All right. And
so it's a good number. Like we as I said, we grow slowly. We do about 6. Like next year there'll be another 6. We do about 6 a year.
Okay, that's pretty good. It's pretty impressive. Even the number 20 of
we're ramping that up a bit. Like we're ramping it up now. So because we put a lot of stuff in place, a lot of shop manuals and legal paperwork, and we give a lot back to the owners.
Yeah, and
and one day we'll be in Melbourne.
Oh, so you guys don't have any here at the moment. In terms of the cafes, is it just based in Sydney at the moment?
Only like Sydney, Canberra, and up to Central Coast. That's where we're at the moment. And we've just started entering Queensland, but we'll come to Victoria as well. So obviously, this coronavirus stopped everything, but we'll definitely come to Victoria for sure.
Definitely.
Look out for it. The Shed. Yeah, I've
Googled it. I've had a look at it, and I've had a look at the menu. Being in Melbourne, we love our cafes. We love socializing. Going out. We haven't been able to do that for 6 months, unfortunately. But I know as soon as this whole thing goes away, it's just going to go back to normal, where we're chilling out and having a great time. So I do look at reviews. I do look at quality, and looking at the Shed in Sydney, you've got really good reviews. You've got a really crazy looking menu. Hopefully we can fly up there one day with Levy.
That'd be awesome.
And
come on, we'll go. But just don't worry. Hopefully we can get a vaccine. You guys should come up with a vaccine, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's what we should do, I think.
I got the vaccine.
That's where all the money is. The vaccine. You got they call
on your boy tahir.
That's just shove that into a needle and you'll be all right, man. Just inject that.
Turkish perfume, that solves everything, bro. You put that on you, nothing can get through. Nothing can get through.
I remember the first moment that I've ever been in contact with that Kolanya was when we were going up towards my auntie's flats in Carlton. That's another reason I'm a Carlton supporter, because very early on, my auntie lived up that way, and I grew up. I stayed there a little while, but there was an old lady that jumped in, an old Turkish teaser that jumped into the elevator, and she just fell to the floor. She got dizzy. She just fell to the floor, and my auntie quickly ran into a cupboard, grabbed something out, came back, shoved it all around her face, and just woke her up. And I'm like, wow, what is that? Like, what did she just use? And it was Turkish Kolonya. So it does do miracles, man. It makes miracles.
It does miracles, man. and we know, like, all the Turkish mums are they're all doctors,
That's exactly right.
I remember, like, growing as a kid, like, you grow up as a kid, you get injured, like you get a black eye or something. What happens? The hummer comes out. The flour and the water. What is this? The next thing you know, you got a piece of thing over your eye. I don't know if it did anything at all, but It seemed to work. I don't know, just
At least
weird.
it's Hamilton, not the Oklava.
They've got the onion too. They've got the onion in the sock, and then you just sleep with
The
that.
onion in the sock.
The remedies and
There
stuff
was-
like that. It's and then the honey and then the cucumber on the eyes, like you're saying, or the actual the humble on your eyes.
I don't know what's the honey in the sock. What is that? Oh, yeah, the onion in the
The
sock.
onion in the sock. I think that was what was that for? Like
To keep visitors away.
Yeah, exactly right. Take the socks off, mate. That would be crazy. That's crazy.
Abby, what are you doing with your spare time? I hear you love golf. Is that true?
I do love all sports actually. So yeah, I do love my golf. I play in. I actually do plenty of golf corporate days. I've done a few in Melbourne. I've come down, just done a couple of golf days in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I do a lot of I've got a couple of kids, so there's always school drop off, pick up, sports training, swimming training, this and that. And actually, my little boy loves AFL, so he's in AFL, so really loves it. But so yeah, there's a lot of that in between.
How did you get into golf? Like I mean, Levy don't know much about it. All I used to know was that it's something you do when you get old and bored.
Yeah, I got into it when I was quite younger, like actually in my teens, I think, like in my teens I started playing. But it's true, you don't get a lot of Turkish golfers, that's for sure.
No, definitely. That's why I'm surprised. Yeah.
It's not a sport, the Turkish community. Like, yeah, there's a few in Sydney, like we play. There's a few guys in Sydney pretty good. I'm sure there's plenty in Melbourne as well. But
so you're the big tahir Woods, is that correct?
It's one of those sports, like, it's not one of the sports we just didn't get. If there was a gold medal for like okay, like the game okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's the best game. Honestly, that game should be everywhere.
It should be. Well,
it's the greatest game on the planet.
Yeah.
We're waiting for our round table to come. We've just moved into our office, so
people
knows as well.
We've introduced to some of our non-Turkish friends, and they've loved it. They said this is it's a brilliant game. It really is. So when they do a goal, hopefully if the Olympic Games are in Turkey, that's one of the games, one of the sports for sure. We'll take gold, silver, and bronze, all three.
all three at once. Definitely. Tahir, look, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you coming on the show. Inshallah, we'll see each other soon when you come in Melbourne.
It's definitely good to see you.
Hope so. Thank you, boys. Like, very professional setup. Good on you guys. Like, you're doing something. Hopefully, the viewers got something out of it. So, yeah, like it's great stuff. Is this you guys on like Instagram or Facebook with this show?
We go through YouTube. You can find the Aydin Show on YouTube. You can
live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube. And then we've got it streaming through Facebook, so it's live on Facebook as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll put it on my Facebook too if you send me a thing. So are people making comments now?
Yeah, people are making comments. So if you go onto your Facebook, or if you go onto our Facebook, we've had people. Let's read some of these, man. Well, let me get in.
Hope they've been nice comments. Like, yeah, sometimes you get smashed on these things. Who is this guy? Get him off, this idiot. Get this Ibn off.
Get this Ibn.
Tahir the legend.
Get this Murdoch off.
Yeah, Tahir the legend.
This guy's a legend. Tahir's a legend.
Doing a great job, Tahir.
The Lord of the Kebab.
Keep us laughing.
Lord of the Kebabs. What a show that was. People still remember that.
That's right.
We did this show in Melbourne, Lord of the Kebab. We were there for 5 weeks. And every show was packed. It's called Lord of the Kebabs, the Fellowship of the Hummus. People still remember that show. It's an amazing show. In Sydney, we did like 1,000. It was an incredible. Some shows just really cut through. It's amazing.
Also, I'm a celebrity. What was that like?
Yeah, exactly.
That was an amazing experience. I love doing it because it was anything that is different. I love doing. Honestly, it gets you out of your comfort zone. And to me, they said, yeah. I said, yeah, I'm in. I love it. And obviously, the worst thing was spending time away from your family. But that's part of something you've got to give up to
you have young kids?
Yeah. To experience it, you got to do it. To experience, you got to do it. So I've got 2 kids in every state. And
every state.
I'm only joking. So
on that island, anything on that island?
I haven't been there yet, but give me a chance. But like honestly, like it was a really, and everything was real. Like, so you really go to South Africa, people go, where'd you film that? I think we filmed in back of I don't know, back in Marsh somewhere. Who knows? Like just, but we really went to South Africa, all the way in the jungle.
Wow.
They really kept us all separate. As you know, we had minders over there. I went on a couple of safaris, which is awesome to see all the animals, you know, before the show started. And then we all met each other for the first time when viewers saw it. You know? So and then once you show starts, that's it. The cameras just do all the thing and they just leave you alone. And they really cut the calories back. So we're on like about 800 calories a day with lots of water.
Wow.
So, you know, they really starve you. So you can start getting on edge. And, but the whole experience for me was magnificent. Just the whole experience of meeting the people, the challenges, getting dumped on with elephant urine and all this other stuff that experience, you know. I met Dermot Brereton, like Dermy Brereton, you know, I become really, we loved each other's company in there. Shane Crawford was hilarious, legend himself, you know. And we did so many things, which sometimes not everything makes the camera. Like we were mucking around so much, but, you know, sometimes I want to show the drama more than the funny, you know, stuff that's going on. We were like little school kids in there, picking on each other, having little jokes, getting each other through, like, you know, just, you know, every time Dermot Brereton would be sleeping, I'd always walk past and I'd always talk to him while he was sleeping, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that I was sleeping on the top bunk, and they're really shaky. But I had Justine Schofield on the bottom, you know, the chef, the master chef.
Yeah.
She was on the bottom, and she'd often go to bed, and I'd be one of the last to go to bed, and the bed would shake as I go to bed because, like, it's a very small, you know, the whole thing was shaking like this, and I have to really go slowly. But what I didn't know is Dermot Brereton every night that'd be the highlight of his night. He'd stay up just to watch me trying to get into bed without trying to wake up Justine, for example. But it was a great experience and so many stories, you know. Now, I've never been camping before. I'm Turkish, you know. Imagine my parents go, you know, they never took us camping. Like, we're going to go camping. What for? We got a house. You know, just
Camp in the backyard.
We're actually going to have someone on the show. That's Özgür, one of our friends. He's into archery and hunting, and he told
I love that.
Yeah, he tells a little bit of stories where he would go by himself in the middle of the forest and tent out there. And during the day, you know, he'll be swearing and, oh, why this shit, that shit. And then at night, he'll be like, God, please forgive me for all my sins. You know, he'll hear all the trees.
When he starts hearing the noises at night, that's when it turns to God then.
That's the thing, like I say, in the jungle, the first couple of nights, like we're out there sleeping and there's all these noises and things. I'm freaking out. It's the first time I've slept, like, you know, outdoors and everyone's just sleeping. Okay, how can you just sleep? Like, I'm just free. I'm looking around. Like, it's really, there's the you know, the chip. Yeah, there's a lot of noises. There are a lot of noises making, like, people, screams and things and insects and bugs and snakes that came through the camp as well. They had doctors on the outside and security guard as well. So I should let people know, like, you know, there was
someone got bitten.
Just in case, but essentially we were just on our own. That's the way it is. It's cameras.
Was it fenced off? Is it fenced off the surrounding of you guys, or was it sort of more, you know, in the open space, open plain?
It is fenced off and with security around, so nobody can actually get in. But it doesn't stop the not the chimpanzees, not
the chipmunks and stuff,
or them just buzzing around everywhere because they're just climbing all the treetops. But yeah, I had some of those. One time I was showering and they were in the trees, like, just throwing fruit down at me. And then I go, what's going on? I was looking up and all this fruit was coming down. And then one weed on me. All this water came.
No way.
I'm trying to shower. And we snuck a lot of food in there, and it was a tremendous experience, honestly. It really was a great experience, and made some good friends out of it. It was a good show.
Definitely. We've got someone asking, what's your favorite Turkish dish?
Favorite Turkish dish?
Yeah.
Easy. Iskender kebab.
Oh,
that is good.
With the meat, the yogurt, beautiful. You know, it's done properly.
Yeah, we've got some of the best food in the world, man, don't we?
Iskender is one of my favorite foods. Is, like, I love eggplant. I love eggplant. I love lentils. Yeah, I love the way the Turkish people do lentils.
Lentil soup. I
love gözlemes. I love gözleme. I can't get enough of that. Pide, of course.
We just had one before we jumped on.
It's funny, I never seen you in the Auburn area eating a gözleme or a kebab. I would have seen you. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I like a pop around there, pick up my perfume, pick up a bit of sujuk, you know. I love the way I always try to tell people, like, they mispronounce things. Like, they go, I'm going to have some pied. It's not pied. Pied. Or let's have some gözleme. Gözleme. That's it. You heard that? Or gözleme. Gözleme. Pide. Got to get the pronunciation right. Come on.
That's right.
Exactly. Tahir, we had a great time talking to you, man. Again, we really appreciate it, and we wish you all the biggest success out there, inshallah.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, boys. Look, I really do hope to catch up with you guys down in Melbourne, and I'll check this on. I'll whack this on my social media as well. But yeah, hopefully people got something out of our chat as well.
Oh, they did. Well, we've got a lot of people saying rip a show, and we had one lady saying that a good way of putting it, to take it on the chin and move on. So some really good advice, and thanks again, Tahir. We really
nice. You guys are very professional. I love it. Oh my God. Yes. Thanks, boys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. I'll catch you guys soon.
We'll see you when you get to Melbourne.
Definitely.
I'll be there in Melbourne soon. Don't worry.
Thanks. Thanks, Aydin. Have a good night.
See you, boys. See you, everybody.
Thanks.